What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Wednesday night. It is the 4th of February, 2026, the day where the bear market officially, let's call it bear market what it is. We've been in the bear market for a while. We just didn't want to admit it. But anyway, hope you're all doing well. As always, welcome into the show. We've got quite a bit to get into tonight. We're going to be diving a little bit deeper into some of the key parts of this market, particularly the sentiment, okay? So, if you've been around this market for a while, then you know that a lot of it is driven on sentiment. And it's almost like a capitulation, isn't it? It's like everyone's bearish, those things are bearish. You ever heard of the saying, project what you want to be? Well, I think that's really where we are right now, which means that essentially the smart money might be playing the stupid money, and then you've got to decide which category you fall into. All right, so we're going to try and break into that. Why is there reasons to be bearish? Why is there reasons to be bullish? We'll talk about this Binance thing as well, because I do want to get into this Binance noise that's coming out, which is Binance potentially insolvent? Sounds insane to even think about it, by the way, but it's another fuel on the fire. The whole Epstein scenario, it is all at the minute, in my opinion anyway, it's bearish. Let's not kid ourselves here. We can have the most hopium in the world, but when you've got significant downward pressure, sometimes you just have to embrace it and start your planning for the next move. So we'll talk about that as well. Like I said, we've got an action-packed show this evening. It's going to be a lot to get into. I absolutely welcome your comments, your opinions, your thoughts, your views. Please do share them in the chat. Likewise here on TikTok, I promise I'll try and read as many as I possibly can. But the worst thing we can be right now is silent, is sit there in despair. It's not about it, right? If you've got something on your mind, put it in the chat. Let's talk about it, all right? Because that is how we are going to win. Even in the face of sheer adversary, we're going to come out the other side, certainly, I think, better for it anyway. So let me know, chat, drop your chat, all right, the rest of it, all right, which would be good news as well. All right, let's say hello to a few people and we'll get into it. So bored XR pieces have managed to divorce the wife. Now it's time for wife-changing wealth. Let's get it. I told you 2-bit Bitcoin was falling under 75K. Everyone is a master at charts right now. It's fallen to 70, maybe 68. Yeah, I mean, that's what we said in fairness. So yeah, but shout out to you. Welcome in. Magic Craig's here. Good to see you, buddy. Welcome. Hashtag Mike or hashtag 2-bit. I like that. Chipper, welcome in. Has the Ponzi guy got any regs yet? No, RPM, it hasn't. It hasn't. Selmo Fud's in the house. Good on Selmo. The end to come. I couldn't be more bullish. I'm curious. Let me know in chat why. Tomato Pete, what's going on, buddy? Welcome in. I'll knit precious plastics. Love it, RPM. And then likewise, Rob and Sarah, welcome in, Rob. Good to see you, man. Johnny's here as well. For me, I'm waiting for a confirmation of a reversal. Need a good period for upward momentum to buy. That's true, and I don't think it's coming anytime soon as well. Mike says, I'm buying up XRP as fast as I can. Keep up to date with all the latest, by the way, at XRP, as well as the broader market. Every day I release 2 videos, keeping you plugged in, so definitely check those out. The latest XRP video is pretty bullish, if you ask me. All right, everybody, let's do it. Let's get into the charts. Let's try and make some sense of what's going on. And yeah, I'll share some of my thoughts for what it's worth, all right? Not saying that I'm any kind of superhero when it comes to TA, but we'll try and understand what's happening. So also, just really quick note, by the way, if you are interested in just getting a little bit more out of the channel, you can actually become a Discord member, okay? It's super simple. Head over to YouTube, grab a channel membership. You can also get it on whoop.com. And what that gives you is access to our premium Discord server. You've heard me talk about this before, but why is this important and why do I want you to know about this? This is obviously the VIP area. So in here, you get lots of cool stuff, chat requests, all the rest of it. But what I want to tell you about is as well, is that I post trade options when they come in. So for example, 246 today, I put market looks weak and ADP jobs data is bad. Looking for an entry at the 20-day EMA to trade the short. TP1 looking for 74,500. Tight stop loss 400 above. This was where the price of BTC, by the way, was 75,190. And if you're ever in any doubt, that was the trade that I put on. So you can see here, we absolutely timed the top of the wick and then we shorted the market down to the bottom. Now, interestingly enough, that short is still open a little bit, not fully, but again, these are the things you get in there. $6. This trade was worth about $3,000 on the back of that. So like I said, I'm not saying that you have to, oh man, that's annoying. I'm not saying that, you have to kind of, get involved in it, but it is worth it. And also we just literally, sorry, I was going to show you guys this. We just released also our full Learn to Trade guide as well. So this takes you through some really key chart analysis, that you can see here. So this is all free, by the way. So these are just some key patterns that you can walk through. So for example, the head and shoulders pattern, a bearish reversal. What do you need to look for? How does it play out? The pros and cons, and then equally some key elements. We've got a lot of charts. This will be added to as well. You get all this for free. Trade signals, everything else. All right. It's totally worth it in my opinion. All right. You don't have to, but if you're interested, it is only a few bucks to get in on a monthly recurring basis. And like I said, it's important that, that sort of stuff, we need to make sure that we're dialed in for when the market does turn. When the market flips bullish, you've got to be in a place where you can trade it. So where does that leave us right now? Well, it is hard to believe that we are as bearish as we are, but the fact of the matter is the charts don't lie. Here was the reason why I was calling for this push down as well. We broke this strong support line that we've been looking at now. We talked about it yesterday. We broke that line with some pretty heavy volume. This is the insane bit here. This volume is really big at the minute. And so this is kind of the breakdown. So I was like, okay, like this is definitely going to be slightly unnerving. And then when you go into a little bit nearer here on the 15-minute, I mean, we talked about this line last night. If you remember, look at the respect on this line that we got. Really, really bullish line if you were trading this one. Obviously, we can get rid of that now. Breakdown, again, we saw a similar kind of pattern here holding up, and then we obviously broke down below that. So this was the line I was looking to trade off. We got back up. Anyway, took that trade higher up, and then managed to get that. But what does it mean right now? Well, look, the fact of the matter is expect further pushdowns in the market. That's just my opinion right now. You can see that we're trending bearish here on the 20-day EMA. Remember, always start the short time frames and work up. Even if you went to the 5-minute chart, for example, you are below here the 20-day EMA. Go up to the 15-minute, you can see that we are trading and struggling to break back above this 20-day EMA. Go to the 30, you can see that we're well underneath it and well underneath this key support with real key rejections here on 3 separate occasions, telling you that the buyers are not stepping in. They're not driving this price higher. And actually the sell pressure's coming back in, which again, you've heard me talk about this before. When you get these big, strong dumps to the downside, people are just looking for an exit. So the minute you get an upside move, wicks back down. Upside move, wick back down. All right. And we'll talk a little bit more about who is doing it and what you can kind of keep an eye out for. Go to the 1 hour, really bearish. 4 hour, really, really bearish. This is my point here. The macro is bad. Here on the 12-hour chart, now we broke this support here, but look at this distance here from the 20-day EMA. So even if you were looking to trade those 20 days EMA, 11% as a valuation below, which again is important. And then it just gets worse from that point. So the daily, the 2-day, and if you go to the weekly and the high time frames, we are about as bearish as you could get. All right, so that just gives you kind of an indication as to where we are. All right, so that's kind of Bitcoin. Now, the debate is, where do we go next? Well, everything's still playing out exactly that we have been discussing here, which is where are my next price targets? Well, 68,700, and we're not a million miles away. If you think about where we are right now, we're about 5% away to get down to that 68,900 range, which is pretty interesting. Now, my full, this is kind of where I'm potentially looking at that big trade that we were talking about. It's not going to be millions, but certainly a 6-figure trade. We're probably going to be looking at putting a long trade on here. Again, tight stop loss. So it's going to take a couple of times to try and trigger it, but I think it could be fun to kind of watch that one as well. Equally, the rest of this short trade, if this plays out, may fund some of it as well. So we'll see. But, this is kind of where we get to. I know what you're all thinking. Well, is there anywhere on the way down that could offer some element of respite? The answer to that is around yes. So, 70K is going to be a really key support level for us. Psychologically, that ends up being a pretty big support as well. But historically, it doesn't hold anything. We haven't really seen it do anything as well here. Is it me or did 2-bit look like Phil Mitchell from EastEnders in the thumbnail? A little bit. That's the power of AI. It's the power of AI. More on AI in a little bit, by the way. But, 70K potentially is where he is. But you just look at that chart right now, and that chart is just... that's awful, isn't it? It's awful. You could argue that it's like a really big head and shoulders pattern, shoulder, head, shoulder. You could argue it's something like that. Generally, what happens is you get a, bearish kind of move to the back of it. Equally, you could argue that you have the big M pattern that we've talked about a lot here, which technically from that M pattern move there, you take us down to exactly this lower support range that we've been talking about. So there's a lot of technical charts right now, in my opinion, that are telling us that we're heading that way. These are where I expect, however, this big bit of volatility. It may wick a little bit lower. We could retest and wick the lowers of 60,000, which would be pretty crazy to think about. But there is some good news, and I know what many of you are thinking. Oh my God, I came for just some hopium in here, and here we go. We're just getting super bearish. There is, however, a 4% chance that Jesus Christ will return in 2027, all right? Which is good news. That's probably a stronger percentage than actually what the bear market is going to be over anytime soon, all right? So worth noting, by the way, 4% people believe Jesus Christ could turn back in 2027, all right? I'm not a particularly religious individual, but hey, I thought that was interesting. Head and shoulders in here, dandruff. There you go. Within the altcoin market, there is a couple. Monad having a little run. As much as I do like Monad, by the way, I think, look, a lot of these newer coins, capital's going to exit them quite significantly and go into other particular coins. HBAR's up a little bit, ICP. Bitcoin Cash holding in there. Hype. Now, big announcement with Ripple on Hype. More on that in a different video. But yeah, up nearly 10%. And Hype feels like it's the one trade that's making it happen right now. Fetcheye getting a little bit of a move. Canton down only to the support line. So look for the break back above if we get some market push. Now, Pepe up 3.5%. I know what you're thinking. 2-bit. Why is Pepe up 3.5%? Well, they burned nearly 1.6% of the supply, which I didn't even realize. But hey, we'll take it. Whiff down around 25 cents as well. Into the, just a real quick look at the TradFi market. So you can see gold just marginally down here on the day, 0.12 with extreme volatility coming in. What's interesting, bounce off the 20-day EMA as always here on the daily candles. That's why, again, getting that premium Discord is so worth it. You've got a full strategy on how to trade the 20-day EMA. A bullish strategy. Silver up about 2.5%. But what you know here is copper's down. The S&P is down. The NASDAQ bouncing back after that absolute disaster yesterday, which is kind of interesting on the back of that. The DXY down, up a little bit as well. Where it gets really interesting is the stock market absolutely tanked today. Casey, thank you for the heart me's. What's going on, buddy? Welcome in. Welcome in. Good to see you, man. There's a few people who only need some work, Casey. So yeah, shout out to you, man. Appreciate you being here, and get rid of all those weird spammers that are in there. But yeah, the NASDAQ taking it up. But look at this. Oracle down 5.19%. Amazon taking a dump. AMD actually is a disaster. I don't know if you saw this. Which is definitely not good. Down 17.33%. What the heck is going on, AMD? Oh dear. So this is kind of why we're seeing the markets drive down a little bit. You can see there, Broadcom as well, down 3.8%. The AI bubble is starting to be a little bit of a problem, and this is why we're seeing this massive capitulation here. The only one that was up, Apple, whatever. It doesn't really make a big song and dance about it, but hey, it's still up, I guess. So overall, big pushes down. MicroStrategy down to 128, which is kind of insane when you think about it, but that's kind of where we sit right now. US Treasuries pumping, gold up a little bit, silver doing a decent job. The FTSE's up, the DXY's up, the Russell's down, all pointing to risk-off strategies. The big question is, why? All right, why? I'm going to try and answer that in tonight's live stream as well as keeping you up to date with all the rest of it that's going on. Now, I'm going to flick through a couple of these headlines, and I just want you to take in the sentiment. Again, what I said at the very start of this live stream was, it is about sentiment in this market. And I think so many people, unfortunately, are, and I don't want to use the narrative of, oh, they're getting shaken out. This is all the plan. They're going to pump it to $1 million. Like, I am not saying that, by the way. You think BTC will go below 70K before crossing 80? Yes. I think BTC's heading to between 65 and 68,000. And today, as well as yesterday, probably confirmed that, really. So, yeah. I think quantum money changed it all. Definitely. And October the 10th, by the way. October the 10th definitely is one. Ledger Live. I don't know what that means. Hey, brother, love from Australia. What's going on? Welcome in, by the way. Do me a quick favor if you haven't already. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to share this out as well. Wadi, yeah, I know it was pretty close one. I always forget I've zoomed in. But yeah, what's going on, brother? Hope you're well. So the sentiment's the important bit, right? Is Ledger Core Wallet? Yes. If anyone's trying to shill you on that's in the Discord or whatever, just don't do it, all right? There's a link in my description. Takes you directly to their website. Use that one rather than anything else. NVIDIA and AMD CEOs are cousins. Really? That's wild. That's wild. The AI bubble is a problem, right? I want to talk about it. So let me just flick through some of these key headlines, and then we're going to dive into some of these key things. So look at this. MicroStrategy, where did it all go wrong? All right. Strategy is going to absolutely cause the crypto market to go into zero. Binance sending cease and desist letters to defamatory statements regarding Binance. A lot of people calling them a 1010. Bitcoin could fall to 38,000. Coin Bureau, don't tell me this. What is going on? Bhutan, even the government of Bhutan are selling their Bitcoin. It's all fucking bad news. It's all bad news, right? Interesting, isn't it? Interesting that we see this, this sentiment right now of real nervousness in the market. That aligns to global crypto, the total market cap sitting here at $2.46 trillion. It's a big old move. If you think about where we were just 30 days ago, coming into the mid part of Jan. Oh, that's not what I want to do. It's here. It's here too big. Get your life right. Get your life right. 21 days ago. So, you think about where we were. It is a big old wick down of around 34% out of the entire crypto market, right? That's pretty bad news, if you to ask me. And we don't see any signs of it kind of doing. So you can then be in a world of going, right, everyone's bearish. Everyone's bearish. We're going to zero. Now, I don't want to be one of these people that puts tinfoil hats on and starts to call everyone a scammer and all that, right? So I'm going to explain here. But there is some things that I think people have got wrong, and this could mean that you either make a bad decision or you make a decision too early when it comes to your particular assets. For complete transparency, you all know that I sold most of my 50% at 108,000 into stablecoin. I still hold half of my portfolio in native assets such as Solana, which is staked for 6.45% APR, Aerodrome staking, Ethereum, XRP, all those kind of things. But we did actually sell some back at 108. So what am I saying here? The narrative right now is that everyone's like, oh, the market's cooked. Everything's going to zero. ETF outflows are insane. Yeah, you only have to look at some of these numbers that were coming in for ETFs. And if I was to put a poll up, in fact, drop in the chat, okay? Drop in the chat. Do you think that the ETFs are the reason the markets are capitulating? Now, it's technically a false narrative, this, because I obviously want you guys to go, oh, yeah, 100% it's the ETF's fault. Then I'm going to be like, oh, well, look at this data that's going to tell you it's not. But you get my point, right? Humor me, people. Humor me a little bit. So drop in the chat. What do you think that ETFs are a causation of this market dump, all right? Casey, what's going on? Fairground, good to see you. Trump could sign an executive order for US to start a strategic Bitcoin reserve and save the crypto market. I mean, that's true. That's true. Did you see the Scott Besson in the Senate hearing today? Loads of discussion about crypto, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, interesting. JB, what's going on? Binance aren't helping. That's true. Tomato Pete. Curtis says, nope. What about Uphold? What about them? No, you see, you guys, that's not true. Okay, right, we're going to do this differently. Why then? So why aren't they the causation of dumping? Bear in mind, by the way, if you weren't sure about what narrative I'm going to push here is, look at some of these outflows. Another $272 million worth of outflows for Bitcoin ETFs. That's not all. You can see here that they have been dumping aggressively. In fact, the 30th, they dumped $500 million. Surely they're pushing the market down, right? Surely. They're selling everything. It's going to zero. What's going on, DG? Good to see you, buddy. Hey, Wadi, Daniel, me and Vern are live after my live stream. I'll probably just continue on after this. So if you guys are about, jump on. It's just a general chit chat, hang about. Be cool to get you guys in as well. So feel free. It will be like 20 past 5 Eastern Standard Time for you guys. So if you're about, jump in. Be cool to chat all things crypto. But yeah, so we've got $500 million. Look at this. I was going to point then. You guys can't see it. But look at this. The 29th of January, $817 million flowing out of ETFs, right? So you guys are cheating when you say that ETFs aren't the problem. By XDC. ETFs are just above for the ride. They didn't raise the price. Can't imagine they're causing the dump. Interesting, Mark Noby. I like your thesis. It's metal volatility. Is it? Is it metal volatility? That's the big question. All right. I'll be live at 5 p.m. Okay, no dramas, mate. No dramas. I always forgot we're on different sync times now, aren't we? Okay, so the narrative, I think, that aren't smart investors, they're not people that have been around for a while, believe now that BlackRock, you only have to go and look at go look at X, okay? For example, you type in BlackRock, every single day I'm seeing, oh, BlackRock is selling this. They're selling $200 million worth of Bitcoin. It's all going to zero. Everything's all bad news. If I just type in BlackRock, okay, and you can see loads of this native. So you can see here, look, BlackRock selling, holders, Epstein and BlackRock. BlackRock are selling. Huge. BlackRock just fell. That was miles back ago. What else we got? BlackRock private credit arm defrauded. The exact reason the market crashed. Binance, Wintermute, BlackRock dumping. See, everything is like, I mean, this guy looks pretty cool with these shorts. You definitely should check him out. Michael Saylor is still doing all right, even with a loss. I mean, he's pretty much in the hole right now, which is interesting. All right, I'll put you out of your misery. So, ETFs, they're selling. Everyone's freaking out right now. But what if I told you that actually there is still a significant amount of this ETF volume that isn't being sold? For example, 23.7% is currently that's been sold from those ETF stockpiles. That's way below what so many people are having. And actually, the average purchase price right now on the top 10 spot Bitcoin ETFs are sitting at around $90,000. It does, however, mean that people are underwater with those ETFs. But what's important here is that people aren't selling. They're going, well, it's fine. Screw it. I think we're going to get revenue generation on these ETFs. Like, I could give a monkey's asshole at what's going on with this. Really interesting. All of this fear. And again, go through X, you'll see it. Everyone's like, BlackRock selling, BlackRock dumped the market, BlackRock, blah, 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 right? It's fine. They're literally not, yeah, they're selling, and some people are going to sell exactly as retailers. But when you look at that on the chart, look how insane the run was, going from the 17th of December in 2024, where we were averaging over $10 billion in gains, all the way up to basically the end of last year, where we saw that big crash in 1010, which then lends you to believe maybe there's a bit going on with Binance that many people don't know. What do you think about Core Wallet for XRP? I have mine on a Ledger Nano S, but the Ella Power Wallet is great. Both links in the description and in the Discord if you want to get involved in those. You also get a discount, I think, of 10% with code 2BitCrypto. I'm not sure. Check it out. But yeah, the Ella Power Wallet's pretty cool. I have it here, look. The Titan 2.0. It's a great wallet, by the way. My kids' crypto's all stored on that. It's really good. As is the Ledger as well. But they won't send me one for free. So yeah. Really interesting here, specifically with Bitcoin ETFs. So many people are freaking out right now. So many people are like, BlackRock's going to send this to zero. It's an I've been guilty of it, by the way. It's an institutional driven bull market, and now they're all getting out. It's just not true. This is why it's changed, and this is why I believe that the bear market isn't going to be as bad. People calling for 30K, I think, are insane, but that's just my opinion, all right? So really interesting here. I thought this chart was super crazy and sort of tells you a little bit as to what's going on. Now, what else is going on? And by the way, I just want to pretense. Is that right? Is that the word I mean? Preface probably the right word, actually. Just preface what I'm saying. I'm not flipping bullish. I'm not saying that everyone should be aping in on 300x leverage to try and trade the markets to the end. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that sometimes you can just make bad decisions based on FOMO selling, FOMO buying. That's why I think it's important to be part of our community, join the Discord, be here for the live streams, all of that, right? Just helps you out, in my opinion, anyway. And that's why I'm saying don't be quiet. Start, put your questions in the chat. It's important. My wife had our beautiful baby boy today. Let's go. You're here on the live stream. Let's get it, Casey. Casey's at first, or is it a number 2? Congratulations to you and your wife. I hope mum and baby are doing really well, mate. That's awesome news. See? Everyone thinks it's bad news. Casey's missus just gave birth to a little boy. Brilliant. You're first, bro. What are you doing here on the live stream, you massive legend? It's great news. I recommend twins for the next 2 and 3. By the way, it's brilliant. Oh man, I'm super stoked for you. That's awesome, man. Enjoy it. Even the hard times when you're like, oh my god, I can't believe I've done this. They're still worth it in the long run. By the way, one of the twins today got hold of my missus' makeup, by the way, and completely covered herself head to toe. So they're the fun things in life. I'm getting something to eat. Fair play. Look after your missus, mate. She's gone through a lot, so shout out to you. DG says nowhere 30K. I agree, DJ, as well. I agree. It's not a question. I just want to share. I will DCA. I've been sitting on cash, only trading. Now it's time to slowly enter with small amounts to become the bear who wants lower prices. Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what I've been doing as well. That exact strategy, trading the opportunity. 2 bits going for triplets. Absolutely not, mate. So again, what else have we got then? So let's say that people aren't selling their ETFs as much. Okay, BlackRock, all the rest of it. Now, interesting enough, today, Vanguard is adding to its Bitcoin treasury play. $12 trillion asset management Vanguard Group increased its stake in Bitcoin treasury company Strive, ticker is ASST, to 27.63 million shares, worth about $17.6 million. That's kind of interesting, isn't it? So late to the party, Vanguard, they have a spot Bitcoin ETF, all of a sudden now buying into Strive, a Bitcoin treasury company. Now, is that coincidence? What's going on, Vern? Is that coincidence? Is that by design? It's definitely interesting, isn't it? If you think about it, all of a sudden you've got these kind of, you've got these companies coming in. I'm looking for something. Oh, I deleted it. Oh man, I'm such a noob. I had, oh, there we go. Got it. I actually still have it. I actually still have it. Perfect. This is what I want to see. This is what I want to see. So we can see here that these are all the treasury companies that we've got for the US. So all the things from iShares, Fidelity, all the way down. Look, I was curious to see whether Strive was actually on this list, but I can't see it. SpaceX. Oh, there we go. Strive Incorporated. They currently just under $1 billion of Bitcoin. And actually, where does that put them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. They are the 35th highest holder of Bitcoin. That's pretty interesting if you ask me. So Vanguard going in on Strive could be an indication that, look, people are taking the opportunity to buy the dip. I'm not saying that you should do. I'm not saying that it's the right thing. Exactly like Fat Sonic says, look, sometimes when you look at an asset, and some of the stuff we've talked about for the last, 2 years, is how you layer your way into some of these markets rather than just aping, full send. You know, it's kind of not what it's all about, all right? Really, really important. Really important. What do I think about H-bar? I kind of like H-bar. The problem you've got at the minute is altcoins will always run after Bitcoin. So wherever you feel altcoins are, expect more pain in them, in my opinion, by the way. Have a good stream. I'll pop by tomorrow. Casey, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Enjoy it. And yeah, hope baby and mum are doing all good. 100%. Thank you. Means a lot that you understand where I'm going for. Yeah, 100%. I think it's the strategy that everyone should do. Remember, bear markets, market turmoil is the easy bit. You just buy good coins and try and get it as cheap as you can. AVAX, the most disappointing coin of this entire bull market cycle. I'm still holding mine. Do I think it probably gets another rally? I mean, I'd like to think so. It's a great blockchain. Good foundation. They just... Yeah. Stewie and Pump, Dr. Crypto, 2 coins I'm looking to DCA in. Pump, why? Because he's got big revenue generation. And Stewie, I think, is going to be one of the big ones, if not coming soon. So I did trade Stewie at like 172, up to about 212, sold, got out. But definitely, I think Stewie dips below $1. Hang those thoughts. Let's jump back onto the charts, back end of this stream, and take a look at what's going on. So, one of the other big fear-mongering right now is Saylor. Is Saylor going to default? You've even got people like Meet Kevin saying, I'm going to buy Bitcoin once Saylor's MSTR goes bust. Well, you're talking at probably, what, 20k BTC at that point? Like, it would be freaking insane. But why did it go wrong? Now, it's only going to go wrong if you believe that they are going to default on their dividend payouts, or they're going to default on their, you know, their holdings, which they're not, right? Let's just call it as it is. Interesting, if you watch that Tom Lee discussion where he talks about Bitmine and how Bitmine's generating $400 million a year just from Ethereum staking, you kind of go, okay, this is like definitely not as bad as I think a lot of people are saying. But what do you recommend to store my XRP? So I have a Ledger Nano S, but the Elapal wallet, and I think Tangum, is that right? I think Tangum's a good wallet. I think many people here in the chat have Tangum, but Elapal, link in my description in YouTube, gets you a discount if you use code 2BitCrypto. I think it's 10%. I think. Don't quote me on that. And yeah, my Ledger Nano S, albeit I would probably upgrade. All depends what you've got, but Elapal, Tangum, I think is good. And the Ledger Nano S is where I have mine. And as much as they've had protocol issues, I've never had a problem with my Ledger Nano S. Touch wood, all right? Touch wood. So in February 2024, Strategy had an average Bitcoin entry of $40,000. It is true, by the way, that Saylor has literally bought the top. He could be the driver of the bull market. That's the problem. But February 25, Strategy is an average buy of 65,000. This is why you don't DCA up, okay? But with someone like Saylor, you have to, let's do it, Vern. You have to, you've got to put your money where your mouth is, haven't you, almost? He has to go and buy Bitcoin. He has to be the advocate for Bitcoin going up in price. And actually what he's done is raised his average price by $25,000, which is fine if you look at the rainbow charts and you assume that the price is going to, appreciate in value over the coming few years, then fine. And he can go underwater for a little bit and come back out the other side. But think about this. It left them still up 82% and 11% respectively. However, 27 Bitcoin buys were made above $100,000, costing $15.25 billion. The IR approach is simple. Raise cash, use whatever liquid cash is on hand, and throw it into market buys. Now, I don't think everyone was in a place where he was going to dump on the market, but the fact will be that if capital dries up, that's when it could be a problem, and that's when it could get tasty. Saylor and companies desire to acquire as much BTC as possible at high prices, resulting in ruined entry, but also minimal liquid cash. Now, I don't know if this is true or not. Let's see if we can see. Have we looked at this before? I feel like we've looked at this before, which was the balance sheet for MicroStrategy. Do you remember? So here's the balance sheet for MicroStrategy. So what we want to look at is, they don't have an up-to-date filing. As of the 31st of the 12th, 2024, so this is without last year's filing, their total liabilities and total equities. So they essentially had negative $103,000 in working capital with over 25 million in invested capital that's going in there. So you could argue and say that their actual cash wasn't great, all right? It isn't great, which is, I guess kind of important to think about. But that's not how they're doing it. They sell shares, they raise capital, they buy Bitcoin. Like, it's just the model that they've used. So, this is kind of where I think people are probably freaking out a little bit. Once again, though, it's a big narrative story, isn't it? Is MicroStrategy going to go bust? Is that going to completely capitulate the markets? That's what a lot of people are thinking. Usually after Super Bowl and tax refunds, the markets come back. Let's hope so. Shannon says, with Bitunix, you get so many benefits keeping your money on the exchange. Yeah, that's true. The trade I put on today was on Bitunix, by the way. If you are interested in that, link in the description. You get some insane sign-up bonuses. Use my link. Definitely worthwhile. Hi, all. Do keep buying XRP every week. Nice, Zach. What's going on, buddy? Futures here. Realistic point of view, I'm just glad I'm mostly being in cash. That's true as well. That's true. Relax. What's going on, mate? Welcome in. Good to see you, man. Axe21, someone else who was in stable. What's going on, buddy? Welcome in. Joe says, took me 30 minutes and 10 attempts to send my XRP from Coinbase to cold storage. They need to fix that app first before complaining about Coinbase, man. I have about 2,500 XRP on there on Coinbase, and that's it. That's everything I've got, and I'm going to get that off pretty soon. I'm just debating whether I actually sell it and sit in cash a little bit longer and try and, buy the bottom end of it, but we'll talk about that later on. So this is where we get to with strategy. And I guess the point here is that what does Saylor do? Does he come in and buy more Bitcoin or not? Worth keeping an eye out for. All right. Interesting. I don't believe it's bad news, by the way. Have you got any predictions for what the ETH low could be this year? Sean, we're going to double back onto the chart. So stick around. Remind me in about 15 minutes and I'll take a look at it. The fees are so good when you reach the VIP level. Yeah. And you get a free benefit as well every single month, I think it is, as VIP 1. I think 10,000 gets you VIP 2. So yeah, definitely check it out, by the way. Jeff, definitely check that link out to Bitunix. So worth it. It's a great platform to trade on as well. No KYC. It's available all over the world. If you are interested, by the way, there's the link. You can grab that also in our free Discord. Worth signing up, in my opinion. Make sure you verify, though, so that we know who you are and we don't kick you out. Because if you sit there in the verification bit, you don't verify your account, you basically get yeeted. And it is the easiest thing in the world. So I don't understand why people struggle so much with it. Because it is literally the easiest thing ever. So if you don't do it, then I can't help you. But if you do it, then you get in. All right. Good. Okay. Continuing on then. Binance. Is Binance... Yeah, no. Tell me about it, Rob. Is Binance really going to go insolvent? Now, this is all to do with this particular individual, Lucifer. Right? And he's sort of said, look, I've just got the news I've received is real. We are royally screwed. Now, everyone thinks Binance is insolvent. I mean, I find it incredibly unlikely. Incredibly unlikely. Because they've been investigated by the SEC. So if they were doing anything dodgy at that point, they would have been seen by it. CZ definitely can't afford to be affiliated, and he definitely is affiliated, right? Doesn't matter what you look at. He's definitely still affiliated. Richard Teng, seems like a pretty legit guy. It would be insane if they were, by the way, but the view is that they are insolvent. Now, interestingly enough, they did send a cease and desist letter. So is this them trying to hide it, or are they them genuinely going, you are literally talking nonsense? It says the letter serves as formal demand for you to immediately cease and desist from disseminating false and defamatory statements regarding Binance. On February 3rd, 2026, you published a post on X asserting that Binance is insolvent, responsible for the 1010, and that the situation is far worse than the FTX collapse. These claims are demonstrably false, malicious, and constitute libel per se. Notice of violation, etc., etc., etc. All right, so pretty interesting. Now, again, I find it really difficult to believe that that Binance, the biggest exchange in the world, that would be insolvent, given all the people that would be trading on that platform, given all the institutions, and the fact the SEC investigated them, feels incredibly unlike it, right? Yeah, I know, Vern. It's wild, isn't it? It's wild. Of course, he's running it. He pretty much runs it. Exactly, Tim. Yeah. In fact, so he said, look at what they did with the VVV launch. I don't know what that was. Maybe Coinbase is the villain all along. Maybe. Just be Coinbase 1 and you're golden. Yeah, I probably need to do that. I'd rather send crypto to Venmo. Can you try to do an American accent on casual Fridays? I mean, you can do if you want. I don't know how people feel. I'm VIP3 that makes and takes fees are insane. Let's get it. It's great news. CZ runs the showers. So yeah, interesting. Let me know. Do you think Binance is insolvent? I don't think it is. I don't think it is. Now, I wanted to bring this particular post up here. Not in any way, shape, or form hitting on, Coin Bureau and saying that I don't believe them. But when I sort of said about this whole idea that the market's going to zero, everyone's max freaking out, retail are dumping their bags like you wouldn't believe. But behind the scenes, it feels like ETFs aren't selling as much as maybe you would be led to believe. Actually, BlackRock, as well as the rest of the crypto market, is kind of holding up. But just let me read this tweet out for you. Bear in mind, this has got 20,000 views on it. Coin Bureau, relatively solid platform. It says this: Bitcoin could fall to 38K. Investment company Stifel says Bitcoin could fall to $38,000 based on past cycles, citing tighter Fed policy, slowing US crypto regulation, shrinking liquidity, and heavy ETF outflows. Sentiment has sunk into extreme fear, showing waning institutional and retail interest. It's just not true. It's not true. That's the crazy thing. Heavy ETF outflows. Comparably, they're heavy in the sentiment of the actual value, but comparatively to what they hold, they're not even that big. It's not that big a deal. We've literally looked at that. Sinking liquidity. It's not true. Liquidity is coming back. ISM in expansion. Fed rate cuts. If people think Kevin Walsh is not going to cut rates, they are insane, in my opinion. They are insane, right? Trump's publicly come out and said, well, we haven't really discussed it. I've watched him. I think he's going to drop rates. Do you honestly believe Trump's going to put someone in after Jerome Powell that's going to be hawkish on rate cuts? No, not a chance. And if you also believe that they haven't talked about it, you're also insane as well, because there's no way on this earth that hasn't happened. Trump has to run the economy hot. He has to. The problem he's got, and I saw something earlier on, by the way, I don't know how true it is. He's 2 votes away from impeachment. The recent government shutdown had 2 Republican senators vote against the Trump policy. This is bad news. And there's even stories going on that John Thune's kind of not good for Trump and all the rest of it, right? It's kind of wild. So he has to run this economy hot. If he doesn't, the midterms are done, and that's your lot. Trump 2.0 will be finished after 2 years, in my opinion, by the way, in my opinion. So he's going to run this economy hot. Now, he isn't going to do it straight away. We all know what happened with Stephen Myron. What's interesting, I think, and it will play out one way or another, I think, with Kevin Walsh, is that essentially what you're going to get is you will get a Stephen Myron, depending on how you announce his name, sort of view, which is, he's a Trump plan. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's there just to drop rates. Actually, when you heard what he talked about, you're like, oh my God, this guy's super clever. He knows what's talking about. And I think Kevin Walsh will be the same. He's got a good pedigree in terms of background. Yeah, 18 years ago, he was hawkish on rate cuts. He was hawkish on rate cuts in a deep recession. Do you know what I mean? Where there was real concern in the markets. Does that mean he's going to be the same now? Probably not. All right. But I thought it was interesting. Bhutan are selling Bitcoin. They're getting absolutely shaken out of this market. And FYI, you have to do what's right. I'm not going to sit here and be like, don't sell your Bitcoin, because that's insane. And a lot of you know that I went 50% into stablecoin, so I can't sit here and be like, I think you're all crazy. You don't do what's right for you. You got to play this market. It's better, in my opinion, I will just say this. I'm not telling you to sell. It's better to sell at 73,500 than it is to sell at 50K, all right? That's my theory. However, if you assume that the top end of the bear market potential price is between 65 and 67.5K, you're 6% lower. What's 6% going to do to portfolio? If you got a $10,000 portfolio, you're going to lose $600. Who the hell cares about $600? You can just trade the short. You get my point. Now, here is where you could argue, does this feel different? I know you can't see it TikTok, so I'll tell you what we're looking at. This is the number of entities with balance of over 1,000 Bitcoin. So these are what we would define as bigger wallets. And you have to be mindful. I have had to research this and I've got into it as well. As of right now, though, we are starting to see an accumulation in the price, in the number of wallets that we actually have, which is kind of interesting, all right? We haven't really seen that recently, but we can actually say that we are starting to see it now, right? The whales continue to accumulate while retail investors panic. So these are wallets, these are wallets with less than 1,000. So these are lower wallets, right? Non-institutions. And they are actually selling off here. Look, you can see this here. We can have a look at those bigger wallets as well. But this is important to think about because what it tells us here is that wherever there is noise, people are taking the opportunity. And here's my prediction, by the way. I think Saylor buys big on Monday. I think he's going to come in similar to kind of last week, which will just be it'll be like a token gesture. Like, I'm not worried about Bitcoin. Like, what the hell? Like, look how much I'm buying. I think that's, in my opinion, that's kind of where you get a really interesting view. I was going to try and find, excuse me. I was going to try and find the wallet numbers to have a look at, but I don't know if I can. Oh, here we are. Here we are. Oh, boys and girls. I think I found it. Yeah, here we go. Look at this. So these are retail holders with less than 100 Bitcoin. The balance change over the last 30 days. Look how insane this fucking chart is. Look at it. Look at it. We're seeing mass panic here. The cohort balance change in the last 30 days. Look how crazy this is. We're seeing massive, massive dumping of the short-term holders. Now, what we can do is we can then compare that, for example, with this chart. Anyone want to hazard a guess what this chart is? Obviously, I know you can see it, by the way. I know you can see it. That's the stupidest thing I've ever said in my entire life. Who can tell me what this chart is? Well, it's at the top of the screen. Stuart says, struggle to get in the Discord. You're in there, right? Stuart Downey. I'm sure I've already given you the access to it. What is you told me your name was, okay. What is your Discord handle? Tell me your Discord handle. And type in the help. See the help one. Just type in there and I can see it. Because I've given someone access already. Called Stuart SFW. Is that not you? Obi, what's going on, buddy? Welcome in. My mate's uncle works for HMRC and he said that HMRC is crazy understaffed and so wouldn't bother coming after lower amounts. There we go. Stuart, yeah, so you're already in. I can see you. So if you go to the bottom, you can see that Discord chat. Type in general chat as well if you haven't already. So again, we can kind of help you out. I'll show you. But yeah, pretty interesting here that you've got short-term wallets are dumping aggressively and the larger wallets are accumulating. Okay, well, let's just clarify. So this is wallets with over 100 BTC. What do you see here? We see a big sell-off back here in the end of last year. And then we get a nice little accumulation here as well. It's starting to push to the other side. Mike Bennett's in the house, says lie detector. But to a bit, we thought Trump and the most crypto-friendly administration, they would produce the biggest bull in history. We all know how that turned out. Goblin Town. True. And I think that's where 1010 has a lot to talk about, in my opinion, by the way. I think 1010 really did wreck the markets. That's my view. By the way, if you wanted to look at this chart over 90 days, by the way, look at this accumulation right now in big wallets. Over the last 90 days, which takes us to post 1010, big wallets have been buying aggressively. It's interesting when you think about it. Interesting, in my opinion, when you think about it. All right. Where do we sit right now? Here's the liquidity, just to give you an idea, by the way. So we could see this further push down. Oops, I did not need to click that. So again, you can see this kind of, this potential risk here from the lower end liquidity zone, which could drive price lower down than we've seen right now. But, worth noting there on some of those key elements within that. So, this could get pretty painful pretty quick. Dead quick, a little bit of news, by the way. Global influences. Federal Reserve is being more disciplined under Kevin Warsh, accelerating repricing, crypto equities and commodities. Also, a precious moment for levity finding silver linings, which essentially is the 10-ounce ABC bullion has a 9-hour relief of 0.999, which essentially means people are going to buy a bit more of it, which is kind of interesting as well. So this just gives you an idea of where sentiment is right now. Markets report by bullion exchanges. People are still buying silver and gold. It's going to collapse at some point. But one thing to note, by the way, labor data is expected to be pretty shit, which is essentially why I put in the short trade there on BTC earlier on today. Remember, don't forget, you grab that by becoming a channel member. You get access to it. Again, Stu, if you're in, go on the left-hand side, go all the way down to trade signals. That's where you get some of our trade signals. So again, I saw that short coming in on Bitcoin today. Decent little turn up. So yeah, labor data looks bad. So if you think about it this way, when you then look at, the price of BTC, for example, you look at, okay, what's Trump going to do? He's got weakening jobs, which is essentially good for rate cuts. Okay, so we know that a weaker jobs market will support a cut in rates. But what you've got right now is a really, really fragile economy. And let's just call it that. Let's not even get into the nuances of crypto right now. Let's just say, hey, the economy is in my opinion, a really important crossroads, and Trump has to push it, and he doesn't have long to do so. So expect stimuluses, expect rate cuts from Kevin Walsh, expect all sorts of craziness to come out the other side of it. It's going to be pretty wild. Binance has way too much influence, it seems. True. 1010, what happened? Lost a bit. Yeah, definitely, yeah. If the US could get it together, we could take a bigger share over Binance. That's true, Mike Bennett. That's true. I mean, someone like Gemini Exchange is pretty good. They've got a lot of good stuff going over there. I think I quite like Gemini. I haven't signed up for it. But yeah, Gemini is a pretty decent one as well. So that could be good news. So yeah, anyway, that's where we get to. Pretty interesting. I do need to close some of these windows out. So just bear with me while I just yeet all these closed just so I can see what's going on. All right, cool. There we go. There we go. Right. So with that being said, we'll get into a little bit more technicals. Let's get into a little bit of what's going on. Kathy Wood thinks Binance is responsible for 1010. I think a lot of people, I mean, technically Binance is kind of responsible because basically their APIs failed, which meant that you got arbitrage across exchanges, which then just liquidated everyone. And what was even worse is that they stopped people being able to trade on it. So they liquidated all the shorts and then they wouldn't allow the longs to buy, which is almost insane. Like that is the definition of a fucking scam. But yeah, I mean, we can't call it that, just FYI. XRP had a decent day, I think, today. Around $43.96 million Bitwise holding up. You can see there, look, 768 million. Now, that does mean that some is getting unlocked, by the way. Some XRP being sold off today, which is kind of interesting. So, worth noting on that point, by the way. But yeah, XRP actually held up pretty well in the comparison. 3.5%, still very much bearish here on XRP. You got to be careful of this. Monad is flying right now, by the way. But yeah, well, I think let's do something a little bit different. Why don't we just go through some coins? Why don't we get some picks together for what potentially could be good coins outside of the traditionals? Okay, so I don't want to do Solana, but why don't we get into a couple that may be maybe some opportunities to get in. So for example, Sui, I think is going to be I think it's going to be a good trade. I like the ecosystem. I always did like the ecosystem. But where does Sui go to where it is now? Well, look at that. That is a pretty interesting pattern playing out back to the lows. And I do think you got a couple of buy opportunities, maybe at 104. And I do think it breaks the dollar. 86 cents is what I've got as the low here for Sui. That could take us back there, September 2024, which again, would actually be a pretty good move. If you think about where we are right now, we're below launch price on Sui, by the way. And there's a lot coming with their ecosystem. They had a big token unlock, so we haven't got that to kind of worry about. So, I think Sui at 108, I think, if BTC gets to 68K, I think Sui from 86 could be a pretty bullish buy, in my opinion. Pretty bullish buy. Been trading Bankercoin for the past week or so. Nice, John. Have I seen that? Not sure. Maybe I have. Zebek, ACU, HBAR. Let's do it. Let's do it. AVAX, Mark Noby. Yeah, I know. All right, let's get into some of these coins. I'm buying Link for shits and giggles. I think Link's a great shout, by the way. ADA, do you see the news about ADA today getting potentially listed off Binance? That's going to be pretty interesting, isn't it? That's going to be pretty interesting. So, yeah, think about that. Oh, nice. Cool. I just got a new Bitunix offer, by the way. $50. Oh man, is that all? 50. You deposit $50, trade once, you get $20 for free. Deposit 200, you get trade volume of 10,000, you get $100 back. Wow. Deposit 1,000, trade 50K in volume, and you get 500 futures bonus back. Each distribution round is limited to 20 slots, will be allocated on first come, first serve. Wow. You also get trade bonuses as well. That's pretty insane, by the way. That's pretty insane. So that goes live in the next 2 hours as well. So yeah, shout out to Bitunix. Here is the link if you guys are interested. Man, that's pretty bullish. That is pretty bullish. Yeah, started in 2 hours. There you go, look. Check it out. And you also, don't forget, by the way, that I was like, hey guys, you need to keep this. The newbie bootcamp bonus gets $500 in USDT rewards by simply completing some tasks. Bullish. So look out for that. All right. Good news, if you ask me. Keep your eyes peeled. All right. So let's get into some of these charts. What do you guys want to talk about? Let me do it in order. AVAX. Man, AVAX is below $10. Holy shit. That is pretty bad news, isn't it? Let's go weekly candles. Man, look at that. Total breakdown on AVAX. Where are we looking for then? Next potential buy price would be there. 827 on AVAX. Man, that is bearish right now. BTC's dropping. Doesn't surprise me. Always does about this sort of time. Where's it at? 72.4. Holy shit. BTC just took an absolute dump. Wow. What happened? What just happened, man? That's short, bro. That's short. Holy crap. Let's bring this up real quick. If you buy this, you are gambling 50%. Yeah, I mean, that could be a thing. Right. Okay, we've got the order book open here. So let's stick around on futures. Let's see if there's... Let's just keep an eye on the spot markets. I mean, look at it. Look at this liquidity that's just got wiped out. Man, BTC could really, really drop quite aggressively. 72.5. Yeah, watch out. We could see we could see a pretty aggressive drop right now, which again, I'm not surprised at. I'm not surprised. I kind of like Flare. I like the fact that it takes XRP off the table, but yeah. So, sorry, AVAX, 967. I think the low ends up being around 834. Again, that probably aligns to the Bitcoin push down. Maybe if you were going super bearish, you'd go $6, but $6 AVAX is fucking wild. That would be, I think that'd be worth a shout, by the way. But yeah, we'll see. Again, though, just for absolute clarity, there's no way I would be spot buying right now. No way on this earth I'd be spot buying. Wait and see, all right? That's just my opinion. So that's AVAX. What else did you guys put up? Zebek. Yeah, I mean, loads of people like Zebek. The debate will be, can this survive a true bear market? That's the debate, isn't it? Broke that support line that we had. Where does it go to next? I mean, you're at a critical level right now. We're probably there, aren't you, really? If you think about Zebek right now, around 2018. Can it survive a bear market? That's going to be the question with this. Now, its narrative is pretty good, by the way, but you know whether it can survive, that would be the debate right now. Say again though is not looking great. It is at lows. This is below launch price. As much as I like it, as much as I think it's great, this thing is goblin town to the max. There's just, I mean, even if you look at that pattern, by the way, which is generally a pretty bullish pattern, it is literally going to zero. That, I mean, it's clearly not going to go to zero just yet, but I mean, think about it. Think about it. And, you know, and we haven't had any bounce off Say right now. That is a descending triangle. If you were curious, by the way, don't forget, maybe you're brand new to this and you've just joined the 2Bit Crypto Discord Premium, by the way, you got that $6 benefit. Then you can absolutely win here as well. Because what you could do is be like, I've seen this before. Let me just flick over and see what I see here on 2Bit's crypto chart patterns. Head and shoulders, no. Inverse. Double top, no. Triple top, no. Ascending wedge, no. Descending wedge. Bullish continuation to reversal. Okay, is that what it is? Well, this is kind of where it feels right now. The descending wedge pattern breaks upwards 75% of the time, indicating a bear trap. Forms as price. Okay, maybe it's that. It's not an ascending flag, is it? Is it a descending flag? Okay, maybe this is going to give me the opportunity that I could get a small bounce to the upside. Maybe. I mean, that's a great thing about being in that Discord, isn't it? It's just worth it, in my opinion. All right, but yeah, not sure I would touch this right now. I think Sui would be a better potential trade. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. Right, BTC is, 72.2. Man, that was, where's that gone? Close that. Where's that order book there? It must all be futures contracts. Look at that. Spot buys are really quiet. This must be just liquidations on futures contracts right now. Yeah, 700k looks short there. It has to be futures contracts, man. I mean, I don't know why we're surprised. It's kind of like we've accepted the fact that ETH's probably going to 1800. BTC's probably going to drop 68k. I've spot traded both Sui and Say, but timing is, but the thing is, yeah, that's true. That's true. Stu says, should I sell my BTC now and buy when it drops? Stuart, I can't tell you what to do, right? The risk is that you end up FOMOing and all the rest of it. If you believe Bitcoin long-term, what is the benefit? If you believe that it's going to 68k, all right, what are you going to make? Four grand. What's 4 grand going to be? 4%. Is it worth it? Less than that, actually. Is it worth it? Any prediction on Sol in 2 years? I mean, I don't even know how you put a prediction on Sol in 2 years. Up. There you go. That's my prediction. I've already exited all my positions. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm still in ETH. I'm still in XRP, which, I mean, they're kind of holding it up, but yeah, another big sell-off here. Definitely, you know, trying to get everyone to sell, which that's why you get these moves. That's why you get this continuation down, because people are just like, oh my God, I need to sell everything, get the fuck out of here. I'm only asking, mate, man. Yeah, I mean, look, Bitcoin, you know, is going to be longer term, is going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Okay, let's get through some more of these charts real quick. Say we did, Lammy says ACU. Do I need to go into Dex tools for that? And H-bar. We did H-bar, didn't we? Did we do H-bar? I feel like we did H-bar. Yeah, we got our levels set on here. These are where we've got H-bar, by the way. It's what I think. So let's go on the daily candles. So H-bar holding. I mean, look at this as support, by the way, at around 8-9. So break on this sends you down to probably 7-6 on H-bar. So watch out for that. If we lose this line, it's actually holding up all right, 163. How low can BTC go? My prediction, Matt, between 65 and 68K. That's my prediction. We could go lower, by the way, but that's kind of where I would see a bounce, in my opinion. Okay, ACU. Let's see if that comes up here. ACU to USDT. Is it this one? On BNB. I don't even know what this is. ACU here on the daily candles. I mean, if this gets a bounce reversal, then it might actually do all right. I mean, the market's garbage right now. So, you know, if that can then, you know, flip back to the upside, that could be pretty interesting. If this is the coin you're looking at. Also, well, you know, did get rejected at trying to break out that line. So, you know, I'd be looking at something like a 17-cent breakout. Might give you some options. Maybe 5.6 milli is decent, though. Decent. Today we looked at, been trading Bankcoin, and we said that, didn't we? Say, as in Telcoin. That's wild. That is wild. XRP can revisit 60 cents for sure. Do you think? What do I think on Vitalik's opinion on the L2s? Well, I don't know what he said, in fairness, but I know he's dumping loads of Ethereum. He sold nearly 7 million Ethereum in 2 days. Why is Vitalik dumping Ethereum? Why? What has he said about L2s? I mean, in fairness, they're going to make ETH Layer 1 as good as ETH Layer 2s, aren't they? So, what did he say? Yeah. Oh, here we go. Let's have a look. Combining pre-confirmations with base rollups for synchronous compositability. Base rollups where the ordering of transaction of the rollup is determined by the L1. A rollup block is an L1 transaction. Order of the blocks are the same. Sequence rollups where the ordering of transactions is determined by the on-chain mechanism. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, fine. There are two types: regulated sequence blocks, slot ending sequence blocks, base blocks, L2s. The design is now compatible with L2s and are willing to revert if the L1 reveals. This is because of the base block reveals. Any sequence block built on top will also revert. Waiting until the L1 block containing the base block finalizes will be the unreasonably long delay, even under. So this is about speeding L1 up as well, isn't it? So, I mean, in fairness, you know, it's sort of jabbing a bit of the L2 is in there. Like, yeah, it could be pretty interesting, in fairness. The timing game. Normally, these release sequence rollup blocks with very low latency, then close a slot, and these release slot and in sequence blocks. So basically, it's a little bit like how Spotify works, which is that they try and front run the actual like command, if that makes sense. So it like automatically assumes what you know what you're doing. So this will start to end the transaction, create the next block. You can see there, look, and then it'll obviously then put it through in terms of these blobs that are in there. That's how L2s work as well, isn't it? So yeah, interesting. If you ask me, it's interesting anyway. ETH is kind of a hilarious joke. I mean, in fairness, if you think about where ETH was in 2017 and 2021 compared to where it is now, you kind of go, well, they've kind of done an all right job with it. Ish. Yeah, BTC trying to hold back. That must have just been a pretty big sell-off. So, interesting. Massive tech behind this one. Yeah, I mean, look, if it breaks back, that could be pretty interesting on that one, by the way. Oh, I closed the order book. That's annoying. By the way, if you haven't already, hit the like button and support the channel. It does help out the algorithm. If you haven't already subscribed as well, definitely do so. We need about 400 subscribers to break 40,000. Would be great to break that 40K mark. So if you are interested in just getting a little bit more and making sure that you're notified when we go live, hit the subscribe button. Also, TikTok, hit that follow button. Again, we've got another live stream. We may just flow into it, though. What time are we on now? 5 to 10. Means like 20, 25 minutes. We just start the next one. So we may just stick around and do it that way. I don't know. We'll see. I'm bullish. I'm bullish-ish on it, but I don't hold up well enough for me previously. That's true. I mean, this one's been awful. The gas prices are better, but they still are too high when there is volume, at least compared to most of the chains. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we've seen Ethereum under real stress, have we, though, for a while? Doesn't feel like we have. Doesn't feel like we have. Oops. Man, look at that rejection off the 20-day EMA again. Like, just look at it. Like, honestly. If you're not signed up to our premium Discord, I don't know what to say to you. ETH is amazing. The price is not the tech. That's true. That's true. Like number 47, starting the start. Let's get it, Viva. Thanks so much. Thanks so much. But yeah, that's it. Look at that. Look at that. Like, tried to push above the 20, rejected. Boom, down to Goblin Town. Probably, you know, the low 72, 397. As long as we don't lose that, then we'll be fine. What is your next stream called? Oh, it's on TikTok. So we don't do it here. We do it. So I do it with none other than Crypto Vern. So yeah, so we go on TikTok for an hour every Wednesday. We used to do an X Space, but it just got boring. And TikTok's a way bigger growth platform. So if you've got TikTok, join us. Also, we'll post the link in the Discord, so you don't actually need to have the Discord. You can watch it on a browser, which is good. Your shorts are too informative, so I really like them a lot. Never miss an opportunity to miss a single one. Thanks a million. Hey, sorry, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Alt season, I don't think so, bro. Not at the minute. Not at the minute. Alt season literally packed its bags and fucked off, and it's not coming back for a while. Thoughts on Coinbase stock? I mean, what price is it at right now? Coinbase stock is sitting at 168. I think what's interesting with Coinbase stock is it's not driven by anything crypto. It's driven by what their returns are. And I don't know what they reported last time. Can you remember? Coinbase Financials quarterly earnings. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. What did they report? Earnings. I don't want to listen to a webcast. I just want to read it. First quarter, 25, second quarter, third quarter. Shareholders letter. Let's see what it says. What did Coinbase do? Coinbase, Q3 was strong for Coinbase, drove solid financial results, maintaining focus on shipping innovative products and continue building the foundation. So, results. Total revenue in Q3 was 1.9 billion, up 25%. Transaction revenue was $1 billion, up. Blah, 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 blah. What is the outlook like? Q4, 25. Why have we not got Q4? That's kind of annoying. Third quarter. Oh, wait, we don't have Q4 yet. So their projections for Q4 was 710 to 790 million with just under $1 billion in technology and development. So, I mean, in theory, you could argue that it's a pretty well priced at 168, which is driven hugely by the market. Accumulation period. I mean, yeah, the 48 question marks you need to put on there, but you're right. Tom Lee just booked his leaving party. There was a Polymarket thing going on. I think I said this yesterday that was like he's going to leave the country, which is kind of wild. I mean, he hasn't, but yeah, there was definitely a debate that he was going to. There you go. Look, 72.6. If this wicks all the way back up to the 20, by the way, I would short this mother trucker. Still Lumi's heading down to Mount Goxtown. Goblin Town. No, not Goblin Town, bros. Oh, it's all bad news, everybody. It's all bad news. Oh, dear. That's true. The Polymarket thing as well. That's wild. Ver in the building. What's going on? Good evening. What's going on, buddy? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. So overall market cap, 2.44 trillion. Like, think about that. What? We're back to 2024 lows, everybody. Oh. Well, not quite, actually. Well, yeah, we're back to sort of March of 2025, just above October 2024. So, yeah, pretty bearish right now. Pretty bearish on the crypto market. And my toilet is a 5-gallon bucket outside. My trailer roof leaks in the waterfall. I survive on PB and jelly sandwiches, but I'm still stacking mofo sats. Let's get it, Rick. Good to see you, man. Mike says, stop loss hurt, ending up fast. Yeah, I mean, this is the problem. This is the problem. that you can, yeah, look at this. BTC wicking back up, you know, just everyone else like, oh, here it comes. This is why I always say, you know, you want to trade the momentum. Now, some of you guys are going to be way more advanced traders than I am. Like I said, more of a hobby trading than I am, more than anything. But yeah, look at that alert. A Wales $11 million BTC USD long position was just liquidated. Oh, really? There's a freaking surprise. I wonder if we can see it on here. $1 million. Oh, they're from earlier on. Maybe it was on Hyperliquid. I'm not sure. Not sure. Never traded. Again, it is a poisoned chalice. By the way, you can make potentially insane returns on trading, but you can lose everything, right? Everything. So my advice to anyone that's thinking about trading, go and research as hard as you possibly can. Again, for you, Stuart, if you are interested, by the way, in the Discord, go into the Learn to Trade section. You get 4 guides for free. How to trade the 20-day EMA, trading strategies, trading indicators, and the charts to use, all completely free that you get for just, it's like $6.50 a month. Absolutely insane. Insane value. So yeah, check that one out for sure. I don't know if I shared it, but my plan is 2.8 trillion total. Is my spot buy zone down 1 trillion? 2.8 trillion. Interesting. If you're new, watch the market for a full year without deploying any capital. Steve, very good advice. Or you can use TradingView and get some like practice accounts. That's also a good one to use as well. But yeah, get a feel for it, understand it. You want to be drawing on charts. Where do I think price action is going to go? Where would I enter a trade? Where would I exit a trade? Like I said, trading is, you know, you need to be in these markets for a while. You need to be plugged in. And I always say this, you either be, you know, a specialist in one, be a Memecoin trader, be an altcoin trader, you know, trade charts, spot buy, all of that sort of stuff, right? You just got to specialize in one thing rather than everything, is my opinion. Or, like we keep saying, join a great community that has people that, you know, specialize in those things, and you bring great minds together, and hopefully it all comes out the other side in a way better place. DCA average small buys over time is a good plan if we break down below 2.8 trillion all the way to whatever. Yeah, that's true. I mean, there was that story, wasn't there? The Bitcoin buyer bought $50 a Bitcoin every single week and has done now for the last like 5 years, and it's now like 1.8 million or something. But it's not now since the price of BTC has gone down, but yeah. Listen, when it comes to trading, my opinion, when crypto is on a discount, I don't think trading is worth it. That's true. I mean, yeah, you're only going to... The reason why I took that short today is it was just an obvious short to take. Again, you're now in my world. I'm thinking, okay, I'm looking for entry points into this market. Where do I then DCA on my spot bags that I may already have to then bring the price down? Would I DCA into XRP? No, because I'm DCAing up. Could I DCA into, say, something like Pepe? Yes, because I'm pretty underwater on Pepe, if I'm honest. So, you know, they could be where you just try and make your bags a little bit better. Some people would have been like, some people are, you know, 125K. Everyone's like going, oh man, why didn't I buy loads more Bitcoin at 70,000? Why didn't I buy Pepe when it was at $400 million market cap? Well, these are some of your chances. Again, just for clarity, by the way, I do think, however, the market is going to push down a little bit further. So be mindful. All right. That's what I would say. Be very much mindful of what that looks like. So, good. All right. Starting to think it's not for me. Again, trading is just, if you were in a world where you are nervous about losing like some of your investment, then trading is literally the most insane thing in the world, because you lose everything. You can literally lose everything. So be very mindful of trading, by the way. Only do it if you know what you're doing. Everybody trades different, but I want clear slate, so I don't know. I'm thinking for myself. That's true, Fat Sonic. And again, don't listen to anybody. You know, do your own research. And if you are in a world where you have to listen to somebody, then that's bad news. For example, the reason I put the trades that I'm taking in our trade signals is for you guys to go, do I see this trade? Is this trade going to play out? Does it even play out? I mean, you know, so far we've actually got a pretty good streak, running, but doesn't mean we'll be like right forever. Doesn't mean we'll be right forever. So it's worth noting, by the way. All right, good. Where are we at then? Bitcoin selling off again. Again, my price target, by the way, is here, 68,000. So, you know, for me, this could be another short. Do I think we get a potential little bounce? Maybe, but, you know, if we were to get a bounce, if we were to get a big bounce, like a bullish bounce, maybe we get back up to here. Look, it'd be the top of the volume range, around 78K. What's going to drive us there? Well, you know, we may get PMI might be bullish tomorrow. That's a good one. You know, Trump could come out and announce something crazy. That could also do something. So we get Just give you an example, by the way, we get the jobs data opening tomorrow. We get initial jobless claims tomorrow. We also get Bostic speaking, so that could be interesting as well. So, yeah, and then Friday we get that PMI services number. So, tomorrow we could get, less on jobs. That could be decent. Doesn't look like it, though. Just FYI, I think the market dumps again tomorrow, by the way. Just put it out there, all right? Because I think the jobs data is going to come in bad, and I think markets it's going to get spooked. So yeah, look, Bitcoin now breaking below 72K could be, like I said, could be that opportunity that you're looking for. Maybe, maybe not. You got to do what's right for you, but yeah, that's if we lose this price now, so if it pushes below 72 and we see a 71, then we could rapidly head towards 70K, I think. Bad news, Stuart. Really bad news. Really bad news if that were to happen, in my opinion. Like, that is like almost like Goblin Town. Full on Goblin Town if that were to happen. Tokenized metals and stocks was the top signal. I mean, yeah, tokenized everything. I mean, it is kind of crazy that, like, yeah, the market did what it did when it should have been way more bullish. Way more bullish for longer. But they're the cards you dealt with, aren't they? That's why they always say take profits on the way up. So, yeah, 500,000. Look, yeah, they are pushing this market down. The debate is who, though? Why are people... Oh, my God. Here we go, look. Here we go, everybody. Hold on to your assholes. It's about to get wild. Look at these liquidations coming in, by the way. Massive push down. You see that then? Wild volatility in the markets. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of on hold right now. I mean, they're in talks about some sort of nuclear stuff, is last I saw. Rose says, I think Bitcoin will collapse massively before rebuilding something usable. I mean, that's true. When you say collapse massively, what's your price prediction? Like 30K? One time, I don't think so, mate. No, I don't think so yet. I don't think so yet. Man, this short is going to fucking print, though, which is brilliant news. Sorry for not being active. I've had 22 rentals I own that I have to care for. It's all good, man. Don't stress it. Don't stress it. 25 to 30K. Wow. Yeah, that would be painful. But yeah, there you go. 71.8. We said that this is going to be a pretty rapid push down. So, whether it gets there, we'll see. We'll see. Stardock says XRP at 22 cents. Blow off top. We got the euphoria. I mean, that's true. That is true. So, anyway. I mean, that's going to be the next big thing is like, he hadn't, didn't he have an announcement today? Bro, I'm watching now. Yeah, didn't the White House have some sort of press announcement or something? I can't find anything, so maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. All right. I think they're trying to make it more of a usable currency. I mean, yeah, maybe. I just think Bitcoin ends up being a store of value to a degree, albeit you kind of a store of value that loses fucking. That loses a lot in the space of like 3 weeks. You can't have that. Goes under previous cycle highs, people will poop themselves. I mean, that's true as well. Dollar going down should be good for crypto. I mean, is the dollar going down? DXY is not. It's up 0.2. The dollar's actually increasing, which is why you're seeing the push down in the market that you are. So, again, there's just a lot of stuff against us right now. People still believe that this is just a, small... And by the way, I've clung on to being a bull market. I've clung on to be a bull for as long as I possibly could, but you'd be naive to start saying, "Whoa, it's all fine. We're down $50,000 from all-time high. It's totally fine. This is normal." Like, bad news. Gold has a huge liquidity sweep again today. Yeah, I saw that. BTC to 50, 60K and lower, and it's over. I mean, maybe, yeah. Definitely some more bears. My view is like 60, 65 to 67.50, but the bigger problems in where you get into that. Solana at $89. Holy crap. That is wild. BNB 690, ADA at 28 cents. We're starting to get back into the world of like crazy prices. Ondo 26 cents right now. AVAX 9.50. Link $9. $9 Link. Like what? Dollar going down should be good for crypto. Yeah, if it does. Astra at 13. Sorry, 53 cents. Will there be financial at 13? Just bought more quant at $68. Nice one time. Like 297 for Sol Top, I think it was. I can't remember. Let's go here on the daily. What was Solana's top? Yeah, like 294-ish. Isn't there money to be made on these prices if you just DCAing the hold for a couple of years? I mean, yeah, arguably, especially on Bitcoin. Bitcoin and top coins, you know, you could argue, yeah, depending on what your buy-in price was. Then, you know, for anyone who bought XRP at $3.80, that was the perfect opportunity to, you know, potentially do it. It's always a risk, though. Well, yeah, let's hope that doesn't happen, Stuart. The market makes too much sense for me to play with. The 2bit's finally getting linked. It's at a price where I think it's fair value now. I think it's fair value, Tim. I mean, we were talking about that $12, weren't we? We were like, oh, should we buy it? Should we not? I'll tell you what I haven't looked at either as well, Tim, recently, and I don't even know if I want to. The investment portfolio. Oh, God. I don't even know what it is. Should we have a look? Do we want to have a look? I don't know if we want to have a look. Mate, I think it could even be lower, personally. Oh. There it is. $2,000. Oh, man, that's so painful to even look at. It's so painful to look at. I mean, the good news is we have got $139 of Tether sat in that account, which is great because we'll buy something on the back of it. But, oh, that is just so much pain right there. So much pain. Oh, God. Anyway, less of that. I nailed it, Tim. Nailed it. Anyway, let's not look at that. Yeah, let's have a laugh. Yeah, that didn't work out quite as we expected it to. Didn't quite work out as we expected it, but yeah, 80% down. Yeah, it's bad news. That is bad news. My portfolio was looking so bad, I added so much more. I mean, that's the best way to do it, isn't it? Oh, my portfolio is down 10 grand. Right, just drop another 10 G's in. Obviously, you've got to have the capital, and it's a high-risk strategy if you were to take that on. But, you know, when you've got multiple days now with big candles, like, as much as this is bearish and, you know, all that kind of stuff, it definitely doesn't make sense, though, as well. Like, this isn't a, you know, this is kind of bigger than I think we did, which may mean that we end up dumping quick, getting to the bottom quicker, and then we can all start to reverse round. And, you know, by the end of 2026, maybe we start to come back to the upside. Maybe. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Cornish Crypto in the house. What's going on, Cornish? Good to see you, man. Been a minute since I saw you. I went all in at 75k. Shows how little I know. Well, it's better than going all in at 125k, innit? That's what I would say. Like you all buried your heads in the sand. What's that for? Not buying right now, just watching at the moment. Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at right now. Exactly where I'm at. I had to make it look like, yeah, I know that feeling. I know that feeling. So, yeah, that's all I've done. It's like, okay, I've got capital. I'm not going to let it burn in. Everything is telling us we're going lower right now. Everything's saying we're going lower. When you look at it here on the 15-minute, when you look at it on the daily, when you look at it on the weekly candles, I mean, them weekly candles are disgusting right now. Look at that. Look at that. Awful. Awful, awful pattern, if you ask me. And, you know, played out very, very similar to 2021, which is even crazier if you think about it. Isn't it? Even crazier. I mean, you sort of do that, look. Oh, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Oops. Obviously, the scale is slightly different. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, look how crazy that is. It's like, it's literally nearly exactly the same. Nearly exactly the same, just on a slightly different scale. Crazy, right? Crazy talk. What? Which then means that from the peak to the bottom was 371 days. But you have to then take the bottom to the top as well. I'm thinking IMX is good long term. When GTA comes out, gaming will be back. I mean, that's definitely true. Definitely true. Gaming definitely still has a bit of a niche, I think. So, yeah, I mean, 2021 bull market. So the bear market was here. The top was 1,071 days. So, you know, if institutions have changed the market, then, you know, caravan holiday this year at this rate. Yeah, Jim Bob, tell me about it. Tell me about it. Yeah, you'll definitely be able to write some taxes off on this for sure. I've got about 20 buy on 0.03 lots of XAU USD. Lost 5K today. I'm hoping Asia buys in at 11 p.m. Well, I wouldn't count on it. Let's have a look. Pre-market. I mean, what do futures look like? Especially with this selling off. I mean, BTC coming back a little bit, but the Bitcoin futures look down. Gold futures look... gold futures look okay, actually. So the Dow looks like it's going to open down. You've got the S&P looks like it's going to open down. The NASDAQ fair value futures look like it'll open up, but the actual open looks down. Russell down. Asia looks like it may buy a little bit, actually. Maybe Asia buys a little bit. Commodities look like they'll rally again. New York Stock Exchange open a little bit. US Treasuries look like they're going to move a little bit as well. So, interesting. Interesting. Gold open down. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Gold open down. What? Do I still do 50p newspaper holidays? I don't think so. To be, you pretty much nailed the top. I was like 2 weeks out. Yeah, I was 2 weeks out. I think I called, what did I call? End of October, I think, didn't I? So, yeah, I was like 2 weeks out on the top, which is kind of annoying because if I just stuck to my predictions, that I'd have been fine. And I'd have been sat here going, I literally nailed the top. But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, I do think it's interesting that all those people that called me a complete scammer and that were like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. We haven't seen them for now like 3 months. I'm sure some of them owe me some money. Larry's BTC also getting hit hard as a talk of quantum computing. Yeah, I think that's nonsense though. And I've always stood by that statement. I think the whole quantum computing thing, breaking Bitcoin, is nonsense. I really do think it's nonsense. Like, think about how much, I mean, I don't know how many quantum computers are in the world, but it's just like, yeah, I just don't think it happens personally. Imagine putting a 5-lot sell on BTC at 125. I mean, that would be pretty crazy, wouldn't it? That'd be great. But that's what I want to try and do, right? So you need to make sure you're following the channel because we want to try and time the bottom with a 6-figure trade. That's what I want to do, right? I want to try and get, by the way, I don't mean my capital is 6-figure. We'll margin it and we'll leverage it to 6 figures. But yeah, I'd like to put like a 100K trade or 200K trade on, which would be pretty interesting. At the bottom. So my prediction right now would be around 65,000. That's where I potentially would look for a long trade, which if we think about it, if you had a 10x leverage on 10 grand, that's 100K, isn't it? So if you had 20K at 11, well, yeah, 20K 8x leverage gets us to 160K, which could be interesting. That could be an interesting trade, couldn't it? Time to lock in for the rest of the year and execute the plan I've made. I think that's the same for everybody, by the way. Said about quantum crack any code in milliseconds really this year. I mean, we've looked at this, I think, before, and it definitely wasn't in that place where it was like, oh, quantum computing is going to be the big thing. It's going to destroy markets. Everyone's going to freak out. It's going to get everyone's seed phrases. Oh, I just don't see it personally, but don't see it. Sandra, what's going on? Welcome in. We need buys at the lowest. Exactly, Rodriguez. Absolutely. At 60K Bitcoin, I'll get one more. There you go. There you go. That's what you got to do now. You know, the fact of the matter is we're significantly down from all-time highs. What are we down now? It must be like 45%. 43, I was close. Sentiments through the floor. Everyone's panicking. Everyone's dumping their bags. Like, okay, well, all right, what's the strategy? Do we believe that, you know, do we believe Bitcoin's going to zero? No. As everyone says, it's nearer to 1 million than it is to zero. I know not numerically, but in sentiment. And the more people that panic on this, you know, the more the opportunity then sits in front of us. And I think sometimes that's what you've got to play to. How would you guys sleep at night if hype is 200, BTC is 20K? I mean, yeah, I mean, hype's something I've been looking at. I'm not buying when it's pumping like it is, though. I mean, hype was, I don't know where it is now, but it was green, actually, for the day. Yeah, 9%, look. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. I do think hype's got an opportunity, which I think maybe Asta comes back as well. I mean, Hype is technically undervalued from where it gets to $60. So you get 2x on hype potentially into the bear market, which would be wild. If I had money, buy. There you go, Stuart. Yeah, how would you guys... I said that tonight. It's nice to be on the right side of hype. That's true. Yeah, I'm not in it, so... hearing good things about Hyper. I mean, it's got a big platform, big user base, lots of capital flowing through it. So, I mean, and when a market's crashing like we are, we're at 8% gain. Yeah, interesting. See, I think Zcash runs again. I mean, look at this on the range here. Bottom end of Zcash just broke below it. Do we get this kind of move back? Maybe. Maybe Zcash comes back as a relief rally. That could be a nice little trade. I wish BTC goes to zero. Best opportunity for long term. I mean, if it goes to zero, it's over. It's over. It's going to rug. What you think Zcash is going to rug? I mean, do you know what? It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me at all, actually, if it did. Cash price for Zcash is 256 right now. Well, peeps, 40 minutes before I make it. Or beans on toast for a couple of months. I know that feeling. Yeah, the futures market. I mean, we'll have it while we're live on TikTok. So we'll probably go into the next stream in just a minute. We'll close this out in about 10 minutes here on YouTube and then go over to TikTok. So stick around TikTok because we'll watch that futures open. We'll also have Crypto Vern coming up and talking as well. So we'll get his perspective on the markets. We'll talk about the wallets. You guys were asking about that. So any questions you've got, we'll get into that as well. Zex and Week. Yeah, I mean, maybe Fat Sonic. Canton's holding up all right. 17,484. Down about 3% on this support that we talked about yesterday, if you remember. So Canton's actually holding up pretty well right now. This was the support. No, this was the support we called. Again, just saying, by the way. We're just saying we called this move also in our premium Discord. Grab that channel membership. $6 a month. What? We literally posted here. It was like 12, I think. It was even less than this. So, yes, a couple of good calls here we made recently, which is good. Hype's going to rug. Zcash is rugged, and it will all go lower. You think Hype's going to rug? That's wild. It's wild. But, yeah, Canton I kind of like. And I think, I think the big shiny new coin might do something. Be mindful, though. I think gold will hit 6,800 by the end of the year. One time, you would be in the top 3 top-tier analysts that believe gold's going that high this move. Because a lot of them don't think it breaks 6,500. So, yeah. Hype still got an airdrop coming. Ooh. Interesting. Interesting. Maybe that's the moment to buy the dip on Hype. If you're thinking of buying the dip on it. I mean, maybe you are, maybe not. Maybe you are, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. We will see, ladies and gentlemen. Right. What's Bitcoin doing? 73K. Man, is Bitcoin just rallied back up again? That's a nice little move. Oh, here we go, though, look. Here we go. Let me get my short trade open. Short it from 73,240. 100x leverage. Connor Price, what's going on, buddy? Welcome in. Good to see you, man. Watch out for the rejection at 73,254. Watch out. Watch out. Some nice futures contracts coming in fairness. So, yeah, a little bit of push here, by the way. 400x leverage. Full send it with $1 million. Imagine. Can you imagine? That's what some of these crazy people do on Hyperliquid. Like, oh, I'm just going to put a $40 million short trade on. All right, nice one. Nice one. Yeah. I quit watching charts all day. Now I'm down to checking about 40 times a day. Yeah, it's probably a good idea. Yeah, 40's fine. 200's not fine. 40's fine. So, yeah, I mean, Bitcoin's trying to push right now. I still think it gets rejected here. If it breaks the 20, by the way, then this could be a nice little move here to 73.8, which is what we talk about on that trading group that, potentially you trade momentum. So break the 20-day. Again, your next key level there will be 73,800. So, you might get a push. Whether you do or not is a bigger debate, by the way. Bigger debate. So essentially, Stuart, you go and read those trading guides, but long in the market, you are betting against the price going up. What you're saying is like, I think the price is going to go up. You essentially then buy the contract to go up. Shorting essentially is you're betting on the price going down, basically. And then you gain depending on which way the price goes. So if you short the market, you want the price to go down. If you long the market, you want the price to go up. Definitely get into that trading strategies. Go and read all of those documents in there. Like I said, they're totally free because you're a channel member. So shout out to you, buddy. Shout out to you. And I didn't say that. You joined yesterday. So welcome. That's $6.50. Totally worth it, in my opinion. Here we go. The acid test, 256 here, 265. Man, Bitcoin's breaking. Let's go, baby. Let's go. I've literally got chart patterns burnt into my retina. Yeah, I know we all feel that. We all feel that. We'll say 270, 258. Rejection of the 20-day EMA. it would absolutely buck the trend. The last time on the 15-minute chart that we broke it was, man, back here, look, back in early hours of Wednesday morning. So, yeah. So, just, you know, if you were to take the strategy, that would have been the short entry there, 253. If you, again, you want to be in and out of these trades relatively quickly. Like, don't mess around with these because you end up getting absolutely smoked. Where would your exit position be? Where do I think this potentially comes down to? If it's going to bounce, I'd be saying there. 72, 759. That'd be a nice, you know, probably, what, 0.5% in the actual continuing moves. Probably going to be something like 6, 7, 8% in the actual trade. We'll see. Sweeping the lows again soon. Yeah, I'm so glad I exited. I can't say enough. Like, yeah, I mean, Saudi and Ripple making moves. Yeah, Harry. Some big moves coming out of those. I talked about that in my update video today. I attended a 4-day trading seminar I won a place through TikTok. Nice, bro. That's great news. Like it. Please tell me Asia will buy gold. Let's see. Let's see. Maybe they do. I mean, gold futures look like they're open. So, yeah. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. No one wants to trade this stuff, guys. I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing. You know, if you're in stable coins, you're all fine. You bullish on XRP. I think XRP has got a potential narrative that other coins don't have. And even when you look at that EU license that we talked about the other day, understand that unlocks 27 EU nation states that they can now trade that coin on. So it's a pretty big deal if you ask me. Pretty big deal on it. All right. Good. We do need to wrap up the YouTube part of this live stream, and then we're going to be focused on TikTok solely. So don't go anywhere. We're going to be continuing this party on TikTok. So stick around. It's going to be exit. Look at the stochastic on the monthly. It might dump. Yeah, I've got the stochastic RSI up on BTC actually. So I mean, you could argue on the stochastic RSI that actually we are oversold right now, and therefore you expect some buying pressure to come in. Whether we do or not is a bigger debate, but yeah. I'm just curious as to how this chart's playing out here. No one wants to trade yet. Just slow down, be smart. Exactly, Fat Sonic. If you've got stablecoin, there is no rush to get into these markets just yet, in my opinion. But yeah, some nice little volume coming in here, so pretty interesting. You can see though, look how many times we've retested this key area, sorry, on the 15-minute. So it must be 2 or 3 times now Bitcoin's trying to break through it. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, there's definitely a little bit of pressure coming in. XRP back up to 153. So alt's rallying a little bit on this move. Thanks a million, sir, for the untiring efforts. TikTok banned in India. Oh, is it really? Ah, bro, that's awful. That's awful. Yeah. Don't forget, if you haven't joined our Discord, it is free to get in. If you want to get access to our bots, trading bots, trade signals, all the rest of it, you can simply grab it through whoop.com, or you can grab a channel membership here on YouTube, or subscribe on TikTok, by the way. You just need to let me know what your usernames is, and then you can get access to that premium Discord. The best way to do it is just to tell me in the live streams if you join in and get involved. Highly recommend it. It's all algos and bots trading is bizarre. I mean, that's true. We were talking about bot trading. We were going to do that. Maybe I'll do that as a next guide. How to trade grid bots. Grid bots sounds like something out of GoJetters, doesn't it? In my opinion. So yeah, it's fine. It is all fine. All right. Tap in some likes, everybody on TikTok. We'd appreciate it. We're going to be coming over to you live and keeping the party stuck. That doesn't make any sense. Keep the party going live on TikTok in just a minute. So stick around. It's like the bizarre midnight hour of trading over and over again. Yeah, I mean, the later time frames are generally a little bit of a bizarre one, but it's all fun and games, isn't it? It is all fun and games. So, all right, everybody. Well, I think we're going to flip it over to TikTok, and we're going to keep the party. We'll get Vern up here as well. So, yeah. In fact, is Vern in Vern, are you here in the live or not? I felt like I saw you come in. So do come and join us over on TikTok. We're going to keep it going. We're going to be talking markets. We're going to get Vern up here, get his view on what he thinks the market's doing. So as well, if you want to come up, have a thought, have an opinion, then absolutely, then get ready because it's going to be great. So yeah, shout out to all the YouTube fam. We'll be back as always tomorrow, but do come over, join us live on TikTok right now, talking and continuing this party here. So yeah, until tomorrow, thanks so much, everybody, and we'll catch you on the flip side.